Hey, I'm Jorrit Schulte for AE Dot Plus. And I said it right this time, because I know I said it wrong in the past. But this time I said it right, so that's cool. Okay, right. Here's what we're gonna create. Yeah, okay. Let's just start by creating a new composition. And let's do an NTSC D1 widescreen square pixel, because it just fits nicely into the composition. And the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna import the images folder. This in the project files. And the first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and drop the card back out of the map, out of the folder right there, because we're gonna use that a little bit later on. And actually just drag this into a new composition. I will explain you why in just a minute. Let's go back to the main composition. Let's call it final, because it's still gonna be the final. Actually, cards. There we go. So let's just drag in the first card, and we're gonna work on this first, and then we're gonna import the other cards later. So it doesn't look that nice. It's very weird because it is scanned in a picture basically of a card deck. So what we're gonna do is just scale this down to about 25%, and that looks pretty nice. Just actually type it in. So now it looks pretty nice and smooth. Alright, let's make it 3D, and just start playing around with it. So we can create it later, or we can create the good fan and everything. Alright, so let's see. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fix the back of the card, because now let's create a layer new camera 35mm, and okay. Because now when you rotate around this, now it's not what you would see with a real card, and you would actually see the back of the card, which is this picture actually. So we're just gonna fix that, and we're just gonna do it in one layer. And here's a little technique I figured out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the card back and place it into the composition, shut it off, and that's why we pre-composed it, because we can change it now in this comp, and it will update in the main comp. So what we'll do is add the effect calculation right there. Let's apply that, and basically this, when we set this to card back, basically you there are other ways to do this, but this is just the fast one right now, what I can think of at the top of my head. But basically gives you the other image, and you can set it to other blending modes if you want, and some other stuff. But right now we're gonna use it for just putting the other image on the layer when the card is faced back. The back face is seen. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna add an expression to the second layer opacity. Set it Alt and click on the stopwatch, and I'm gonna add an expression. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really know what this expression is doing. Well, I know what it's doing, but I don't know why it's exactly doing it, because it's a vector expression, and I don't really understand those. But let's just type in to comp vec. Let's see, what we're going to do is 0, 0, 0, and actually, 1 end bracket, and that. Then we're going to do an open bracket, a 2, an end bracket. And then what we're going to do is, alright, we're going to do is bigger than 0, and we're going to set this between parentheses. I think this. So yeah, when the card is backwards, you will see 1. It will be 1, and when the card is faced to the camera, it will be 0. So what we're gonna do is actually do times 100. So now when the card is facing backward, the second layer opacity is 100%. You see that? You follow me there? It's great. Alright. Hope you understand that little piece right there. Let's go to the transform now. Let's reset the position. And let's go to the anchor point and set this to 1250. That way, because we're gonna fan all the cars later on. That way you can just use the rotation and will give us a nice big fan. That's kind of nice. So let's add a no object right there. And let's make it 3D also. And let's grab the card and pick whip it. So right now it's following this guy. Alright, well, let's just expression the card and let's go see what we can go up with. Yep. Alright, let's see. Let's add a slider control, basically just a slider that does nothing, but we're going to use this to control the expressions. So let's duplicate it 2 times. The first one is going to be the fan, how much it fans, right there. Let's see, the second one will be the space between the cards, individual cards, so it doesn't look like one plane, just actually depth in there. And right here, this will be the position randomness. And we're gonna expression this stuff. So let's first start with the, I think with the position. Let's alt click on the position. And let's first do this, actually go to the null, call this card controller. And let's lock this window so it stays there even though you click on other layers. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and create the expression now. Let's first do the space between. We're gonna do the let's see, the z equals the index, which basically is this number. This number. So here the index of this layer is 1. The index of this layer is 2, because the second in the stack of layers, you see, 1, 2, 3, and this layer is index number 4. You see, and we're gonna do -1. So the first layer is actually 0, and the second layer will be 1. That's where the first layer will stand as position. So we gotta make sure that the cards stay on top of every other layer. And what we're gonna do is this between, like that. And then we're gonna do times the space between. And let's do that. Then we're gonna do value, which is the value that's already in the position, plus, and actually, yeah, right, value plus 0, 0, and minus z, end bracket. So right now, when we have more cards, let's duplicate that a couple of times. When we say the space between up, oh, actually, I'm sorry about that. Oh, wait a minute. Let's duplicate it again. You see? You can actually see the depth changing there. So that's nice. Alright, let's delete those again. And let's now do the position random. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a wiggle. And this idea is from Andrew Kramer. And what we're going to do is just going to do wig equals. And we're going to do wiggle 0 times a second. So it's going to stay stationary. and the position randomness end bracket, and close that. And then what we're gonna do then is we don't want to wiggle this in the Z axis, only in the X and Y. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna type wig. Let's just do it with a capital like that. Wig, and we're gonna do open bracket 0, which is the X value, and for the Y value we're gonna do wig Y, which is wig number 1. You see it starts with 0, you see, and then it goes to 1, and Z would be 2, wig open bracket 2 end bracket. But we only want X and Y, so it stays in that good fan. You see, like that. So now we can add the position random there, and I will show you with a couple of more layers. You see, only the X and Y change, and the Z is controlled by the space between and not by the randomness. Alright. Alright, let's go now to and blah 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 blah. Let's go ahead and do the fan. Now the fan is a little bit easier, I think. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the rotation right here. What we're gonna do is index -1, again the same thing as here, and again like this, and then times the fan. Yes, I think that's it. And duplicate it a couple of times, fan it out. Yeah, right, that's it. But now we want him to spread out in both directions instead of only to the left, right? So how we're gonna do that is actually also give an expression to the controller to rotate with it. And how we're gonna do that is we're gonna go to the card controller and go ahead and go hit R for rotation. Yes, it's Alt and Z rotation. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's type in index times 2. Wait. Index times fan divided by 2. Alright, I'm sorry, it's actually, let's do it again, minus index times fan, the fan slider, divided by 2. That's it. Boom. We'll just reset the position here. There we go. Got on. Actually, doesn't look. Okay, I looked it up. I looked in my previous comp. I mean, what you're gonna do is the card controller effect fan the slider, times minus index divided by 2, and I made a mistake with the Z rotation right here, and we're gonna delete this part. So now it should work if we just duplicate those again. Why are they not showing? Let's see. Alright, ooh, I did one big mistake right here. Index times, there we go. Now it should work. There we go. So now when we fan this, it works. Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah, so I think we're done with this. With these cards, so let's just get the other cards in and make it one deck. So click on the second card and hold down shift while clicking on the last one and just dragging it below the first card and make it 3D. Then we're gonna pick with this to the card controller, and what we're gonna do then is gonna hit UU 2 times the U button and just hold down shift and click up on all these things. Sorry, and hit edit, copy, and go right here and hold down shift. The last one, go edit, paste. There we go. And what we're gonna do is set this to -3. So now it's okay. For some reason it doesn't. Oh yeah, I know. What we're gonna do is select all these cards, hit R, and set right here the orientation to 0. That will fix it. It happened to me before when I was creating this. Now what we're gonna do is gonna hide all these other cards except the first one and click the shy layer button. So that way all the other cards are still there but just hidden, as you can see by the index number. You have number 1 and then number 53, which is correct because they are, as you might know, 52 cards in a normal deck of cards without the Joker and all that stuff. So there you go. We can actually click on the card controller now and move it down. So we have this nice deck. Now it does look a little weird, don't you think? It's perfectly organized, so that's why we have the position randomness. We can set to about 10 and create some. Looks a little bit better, but there's still a couple of problems. First, is flat. And we have a position control for that, the space between. Let's set it to about 1 pixel. And let's see what that's. See, it's distorted, and now it's a full deck. When we set the fan to 0 again, you can actually see it's about the thickness of a deck too. That's kind of cool. But now, the main problem here is that it has no shading, right? It's one white thing there. And what we're gonna do is gonna fix this very easily. We're just gonna create a light and create a cool lit scene. So what we're gonna do is go layer new light, and let's just do a point light and a little bit to yellow. I already have there, but something like this is pretty cool. Like you can see, it still looks like one deck, even though the cards are offsetted and there's the light. What we have to do is go to the options of the cards and go to material options and set shadows on, and also for the light options, and set the cast shadows on. So only this one looks kind of weird and the rest isn't, but we're gonna fix that just in a minute. What we're gonna do first is select the material options, go edit, copy, unhide all the shy layers, select them all again, except the first one. Well, you can, it's no problem if you have, and then edit, paste. So now all of those have shading. It looks a little bit weird, but you can see it's a deck with all the different cards, and it looks kind of cool, especially right here, like this look. But anyway, let's move the light around a little and see what happens. That's a little bit better, I think. Actually, what we're gonna do, yes, gonna hide all the shy layers again. And what we're gonna do now is we're going to let's set the shadow diffusion to 20 is enough, I think, so it doesn't render that slow. A little bit slower, but actually you see no difference though, I think. No, you can just give it a 0. And also we're gonna set the shadow darkness to 50. See, that looks way better. And now when we move back, we see that everything is black. In just a minute. And that's because there's no light that's supposed to be back. So we're gonna duplicate this light and just move it backwards. Like so, we got a nice backlight. Boom, there we go. It's a little dark, I think, so we're gonna just light the backlight up a little more. Maybe 110. A little bit more. Something like that. Alright, that looks, I think that looks pretty nice. Let's set this to half. So we can run this pretty fast. So you can run it pretty fast, okay. I like it. It's pretty cool. Let's animate them, I think. Oh, actually, what we're gonna do first, I don't really like the backdrop of all the cards. So what we're gonna do is go to the card back and just simply add a tint. And just let's make that, I think blue are the bicycle cards. Or red, but I'm gonna go for the blue one. Some like this, I think. Well, a little purplish, maybe. I think we can get it a little bluish. I think something like that. That looks, oops. That looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and start animating this. Okay, what we're gonna do is we can actually just use the card controller to animate this. So let's just do that. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna set the fan to 0, so it's not fanned anymore. And also we're gonna position randomness to 5 for now, so it looks like a better deck, I guess. Let's move the things down a little bit. Yeah, like that. That's pretty nice. What we're gonna do is place this backwards, and I guess rotate it like this, and the x-axis. Boom. Looks very nice, I think. Let's hit P and Shift R. Let's keyframe those. Let's move like 2 seconds. I don't know. Maybe we can change that and just reset those. And move it down a little. Let's see how that looks. Boom. Okay, it does go a little weird with the lightning here. So let's just move that a little bit to that way. Like that. Yeah, it becomes a little dark, but I think it's okay. And also the speed, well, we probably can go a little bit faster. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna, I think right here, just before it ends, we're gonna start the fan and let's move forward. And like -3. Boom! It opens up. That's very nice. Let's hit U and see all the keyframes. I think a little bit faster, and also make them all easy ease. F9. I can't use F9 because my screen record software. But what I'm gonna do is just gonna right click and hit keyframe assistance. You can see that, but it's there. And then easy ease. But you can just hit F9. And also we're gonna put a little randomness right there. Extra randomness. Just, it's very subtle and you won't really notice it, but it's quite nice, I think. Quite a nice touch. I just want a little bit more chaos here. Just like we see in real life. that's very nice. You could also go crazy and animate him in like that. I think I like that. Maybe. Not in this case, but could be cool, I think. And right. So now let's go ahead and choose the picked card. And actually, everything is in perfect order, right? We go 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. This is 10, 10, 10, 6, 6, 6, and queen, 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 and all that stuff. We want to randomize that, so let's unhide those. Unshy those, I think it's called. And click like the little wavy line button. It's underneath the escape key. I don't know how it's called. It's like a little wavy line. I'm not sure. Oh, and also these lights are above the deck. We don't want that because it would screw up the fan and such a little. So just move that beneath the deck. And basically now what we're gonna do is just shuffle up the deck, so to speak. Just go crazy a little and move them around. And we don't want 2 9s and 3 jacks. We don't want that. We just want total chaos, total randomness, right? So this takes not that much time. You can do it relatively quickly. I could skip it, but I don't. It's not takes up that much time. Let's see, there's 3 there. 7, 7. We don't want that. Let's see. I'm pretty happy right now with this already. It's 2 7s. We don't want that. Let's see. 2 10s. Queen. No. There we go. Oh, 5s. We don't want that. I think that's good enough. Let's. Oops. There we go. I think that's random enough. Looks pretty random to me. Let's hide it again. And actually, let's see. Where was the first? Right. And let's just. Boom. I basically just toggled on the first one instead of the other one. So right now, the chosen card, we can animate that very easily. Just select it. I think we can do the 7. We're gonna do the 7 right there. Yeah, that's nice. What we're gonna do basically is, let's see, where's the 7 now? The 7. Let's select it again. The 7, and unhide it also. And basically, the way it's set up, we can basically just animate the position, and it will look very nice. Let's get you to see where all the keyframes are right here, and I think a little bit of nothingness, no movement. I mean, keyframe right there, and maybe 2 right here, and just basically move that up. Let's just let the camera follow it. There we go. Very nice, like the shadows also on there. Very nice. And let's see what we got so far. Let's just zoom out the camera a little bit. Alright, it looks pretty good. Maybe these keyframes, I made them ESGs by the way, and let's just move it a little bit closer, and that's pretty nice. You could also animate the camera if you want. I did nothing very fancy in the preview. I just created a null as a controller, picked with the camera to it, and just basically animated it. Very simple. Just nothing fancy. There are a million tutorials on that. Just go check it out. Go on Video Copilot and type in camera in the search box with the tutorials, and you find like 3 or 4 tutorials on that. I made 3, I think. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. Let's add a layer new solid and call this make comp size a background. Doesn't matter what color it is. Hit OK. Let's move it down, and basically just a ramp. Boom. And I just want a like casino color. Casino table green. A little bit lighter for the start color. Maybe something like that. And we see some artifacting, and we could change this to 16-bit, but I'm just gonna scatter the ramp a little bit. You won't really notice that. And when we go to full, I just want to see a full quality version frame real quick, and very nice. I like it. And although we don't move around with the camera, you can do that, but it's not really important. Well, we did the, when you're gonna do this without camera movement, you don't really have to do the back facing. Although actually you can see it right, you can see it right here. So probably have to, not necessarily though. You can also just add a layer, but you can do it also. It's a very nice technique. Let's see here. Alright, we're gonna just select all. We're gonna add some motion blur, by the way. I don't wanna add motion blur to each and every one of these cards because it's gonna render. It's gonna take hours to render. Well, it's gonna take a long time to render, and After Effects might crash, and we don't want that. So we're just basically gonna select everything to the camera, other cards, the camera, the controller, and the lights. And let's pre-compose that. Shift Control C. It's gonna be cards. Like that. Oh, wait a minute. This composition is also called cards. And this one, I'm gonna call it final instead of cards. Yeah, alright. Then what we're gonna do is you can add a CC Force motion blur, which is very nice. Let's see, boom. Let's go to a frame where there's lots of motion blur. That's pretty nice, you see? Without and with. But actually I'm gonna use the Real Smart Motion Blur, the standard version I have, because it's just a little bit nicer, and I love it. Let's do a ramp preview. Have a have resolution RAM preview. Alright, here it is. I hope you can see this nicely enough. I think you can. You see the nice motion blur. I like that a lot. I think it's pretty good for a tutorial. Outcome. I love the motion blur right here. You see that? Nice motion blur. So yeah, that was basically it. You can add a vignette if you want, but I think it's pretty good without. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's go back in the cards composition right now, and let's select the first card right here, and let's go ahead and do the rounded rectangle tool. Double click, so it gets rounded edges right there. Duplicate the mask, edit, copy actually, and select the other cards, and just paste it, edit, paste. So now they have a nice rounded edge, what you would see in real cards. So that's pretty nice, a little touch right there. I just wanted to set it real quick to you. Because I think that's important in the design, because every card has that. So, my name is Jorrit Schulte for EA Tats Plus. No, my name is Jorrit Schulte for AE Tats Plus. And I will see you next time.